What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are live. Welcome to Don't Wait to Be Great. Good morning, everybody. Today is a great day to be alive. Good to see everybody. Let me bring the screen down so y'all can see my pretty face. Good morning, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all. We appreciate you guys being here. Today is Saturday. Today is a great day to be alive. And as we always say, boy, God woke you up this morning. You are already at a great start. So thank y'all so much for being here. We super appreciate it. My name is Derek Forston. I am the owner and operator of Forston Consultants. And that is simply a company where me and my family, we go all over the world spreading this message of independent living, shared housing, real estate, affordable housing, the love of God, and the love of people all mashed into one. So again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, you're in the right place. We're going to talk about a few things today, right? Today's topic is what is in your hands, the independent living facility model. So we're going to talk about getting started today, right? What is in your hands? What can you start with today? So go ahead and put in the chat where you guys are from, where you're logging in from. That even include the people that will watch this on a replay later. You guys know I'm here for about an hour. So if you got any questions or concerns about this independent living facility model, you absolutely let me know. An ILF in an independent living facility model is a environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So we always start with that. We don't want to just take for granted that people just know who we are and what we do. So again, if you don't know, again, we specialize in independent living facilities. And again, that's just an environment. That's a 3-bed, 2-bath home, 4-bed, 2-bath home, where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So a lot different from a traditional group home, a lot different from an ALF, a lot different from an ADD, all of these different kind of housing programs that you all have heard about that may require a license. So that's not this. You do not need a license to do what we do. You do not have to own the property, and there is no state oversight or no permission per se that you got to get from your state. So again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, you're in the right place. So we're going to jump into a few things today. I also want to congratulate some people. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people who we're teaching this model to. We've had some open houses here lately. So again, just want to congratulate some folks. I'll probably say that even just for a minute. Got a lot of things that we also want to talk about today in terms of that HRA model. So there's a lot of people, again, that want to do this and want to house the homeless and the displaced, and they want to start their own housing program, but they're just not ready to buy a house, lease one, or rent one, right? So the HRA model, which stands for Housing Referral Agency, allows you to start this model without the need for real estate. So again, if you see a need to help people, again, you per se don't need the real estate. It's more important to have the relationship. So that's what the HRA means, that you're going to become a housing referral agency. One more time, a housing referral agency. So that's what that means. So, in fact, I'm not going to hold off on those shout outs. I'll go ahead and give those now. I want to give a big shout out to Miss Linda and the Eustache family over here in Orlando, Florida. We just launched them recently. Had an open house for them. So if you haven't seen that content, either on my personal page at Derek Forston on Facebook or Instagram at Forston Consultants, make sure you go check that out. Show Miss Linda and her family some love. Her children are in on it. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. She probably had over 8 other different family members that also joined her that day. So that's what we love about this too, man. When people get involved in this and they're involved in family. So again, if you haven't seen my content on my personal page on Facebook at Derek Forston or on Instagram at Forston Consultants, make sure you check that out, or Forston Consultants on Facebook, right? Please go check out Miss Linda and her team. Also want to give a big shout out to Dominique Telford and his wife, the Telford family, out of Haines City. So they just launched as well and have a beautiful facility, and they got something that's kind of really unique and one of a kind. So I'm actually going to see if I can pull him on one of these days and get him to join us live. I want him to kind of talk about what he's got. If that doesn't happen, we're going to probably be posting his content probably by Monday morning, Monday evening. So we're going to be showing it because he's probably got one of the most unique ILFs that we've ever launched for somebody. And there's a lot of different reasons that go into that, but we're going to probably save that for now. But big shout out to the Telford family. Super proud of them. Their content is not up yet, but we absolutely are going to be showing that. Also want to give a shout out to the AJ family. So Mrs. and Mrs. AJ. Super big shout out to them. They're over there in Worthington, Ohio. They recently just joined the family. Big shout out to the Malone family. Miss Misha. So you guys will be seeing these names. You IMB members, you guys will be seeing all of their names in the private groups. They'll be joining that soon. But the Malone family, the Telfor family, Mrs. and Mrs. AJ Madeline, just big shout out to you guys. So first of all, moving at the speed of instruction and doing is what God called you to do, right? Now that got nothing to do with me, but also thank you from me and my family for trusting us with your vision. Because again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, and you trying to get into this model, but you just didn't have the guidance until you bumped into us, we really appreciate that you guys not only chose us, but you trusted us, and that really means a lot. So we super appreciate that. I'll probably continue to shout those folks out because again, a lot of you guys that come and watch this and listen to this stuff, that kind of stuff encourages you all. Got a lot of messages this week from people that stated that they were super encouraged by that video of Miss Linda and how she involved her kids. So Linda's extremely busy. She also just took on a brand new job. So I want to talk about that too in another breath. But that's something that I really admire about the Eustache family. Her husband works full-time, owns his own business. Miss Linda's a nurse, just started a new job with a new position, but still didn't make any excuses. That kind of stuff really just drives me through the roof in a good way when I see people that, get a vision for something that God has obviously told them to get into. And even though their life is busy, times are tough right now. The world is a little crazy. The election is right around the corner. They don't allow things like that to stop them. Like Katara, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Both of y'all got full-time jobs. Y'all got family that depend on y'all. Y'all running businesses. You got a ministry, but yet you still don't make the excuses. So big shout out to everybody that's never given up. Big shout out to anybody that hit a stumbling block, and then you got back on course. I can talk to you right now about two sisters that joined us many years ago, right? And kind of joined us and fell off for 2 years. One of them got married and one of them started having babies. But they came back to the coaching because, first of all, y'all know how our coaching works, right? They kind of never lost touch, really. So when they came back 2 years later, they're now blossoming like roses in the summertime. So, like, I really, really appreciate that, people that do that because it also makes our coaching look genius. But I'll be crazy if I told y'all that had all to do with me and none of you. Because no matter how great the coaching is, no matter where you come from or where you live at, man, if you don't put your hands to the plow to make this work, this is all baloney. Tia's got a full-time job, children, people that depend on her. She's running a business, a ministry, phone calls coming in and out. She's got a little bit of staff now. And what I mean by staff is these virtual assistants. So again, imagine trying to manage all that, but yet you still launched a facility. That's what I love about people like that. Katara, been around us for years and celebrated everybody else until it was her turn. And now she's got multiple facilities, right? But same thing, Katara's got a job. She's got businesses, husband, family, team members, like all of these things. She's involved in her family. She's involved in the community. Like, man, I say this all the time, man. I appreciate people that come around us because one thing I appreciate about 99.9% of people that come around us, you guys aren't lazy people. You guys are busy. People depend on y'all. Y'all involved in y'all community. A lot of y'all are involved in your church. So that's what I appreciate about people that come around us like you all. You guys got the love of God in your heart. You love people. Y'all obviously love real estate, but just one day you had no clue how to put all that stuff together until you kind of bumped into us. And that's what's pretty cool, how God does all of that together at the same time. As my mom will often say, for such a time as this. Here, me and Tia but are from the same city. Tia and I are from the same city, y'all, for anybody that didn't know that. But guys, I'm not what? I guess I'll tell my agent that's okay. I'm 42 years old. I never really knew Miss Tia like that. Now, what's crazy is I did know her son. Her son was an absolute basketball star. Great guy in school. All of that good stuff. Tia's got a beautiful family. But I never really knew Miss Tia. But one day, guess what? God put on Tia heart, right? That, man, you know what? I should be housing people. I know I got this job, but God, you calling me to do something different. And I got this property. Kind of really ain't doing nothing to it, but let's rehab this property and let's now show the love of God through helping people. People think Tia's a genius now. Took a property, rehabbed it. And one thing about Tia, y'all, and some of the people that are around us call Tia bougie, right? Because Tia, they just put people in the house and just say, okay, y'all, move in. Tia rehabbed it. So y'all been looking on my personal page and look how we rehab properties and put people in it. Tia did the same thing, y'all. And that's what we call, again, moving at the speed of instruction and doing is what God has called you to do. Now, God allowed Tia and I to bump into each other. I didn't know Tia. Tia didn't per se know me, but Tia knew my family. Now, how crazy is that? Tia knew my mom. But one day heard me on YouTube running my big mouth, talking about how you can take a house, work with social workers and case managers, and mesh it all together, and you don't need a license. Tia didn't have to go to school and get a 4-year degree. Tia didn't have to go take no classes and go get a license. Tia didn't need no certifications. But guess what this did require? The love of God, the love for people. You got to have some patience, because, boy, if you ain't got no patience, the population that we serve, this might not work for you. And you got to love real estate. Obviously, Tia's in the game of real estate. She got a property, rehabbed it. So look at how this one business is such a blessing. On the real estate side of it, she looks like a genius because she's taking one property and renting to multiple people. Now, I'm going to show y'all tons of things today and how we house folks. The majority of the people that we house, they live in a room that's got 2 beds in it. Tia is one of the few people, and I'm also one of these people, because a lot of us do both, but Tia does all private rooms. That means Tia doesn't do the shared environment in terms of the room. Does that make sense, everybody? In this model, I'm going to show you guys in this independent living facility model, all Tia rooms look like this. They got 1 bed in it. Tia's mind frame is less people, less problems. Because my coaching told Tia, if we put 1 person per room, what are we fighting about? I said, Tia, you want to run a program with no problems because you got a full-time job? Tia, you got a family? Tia, you involved in your community? Tia, you involved in your church? Tia, you now taking people from homeless to hopeful. So Tia, you busy. Tia, you want to know how to make a program that's kind of less problems? I say less people. Now, depending on the math of your place, because some people are going to be blessed and have either a low mortgage or the house may be paid off. Now, that's up to Tia if she want to tell you where she at on that. I ain't going to tell her business on that. But most people that we house, the room's going to look like this, y'all. It's 2 people per room. But again, as you see, has Tia put in the chat, Tia said all private. And notice how many L's she put on that. Tia is busy, y'all. Oh, and just as a little small joke, Tia is also a motorcycle rider. So when Tia ready to go on her motorcycle, just enjoy the breeze and go hang out, Tia don't have to be running back and forth to that place, because this is a shared living environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff. Tia don't have staff. Now, she does have a virtual assistant, which is a part of our coaching, because Tia is busy. She's got a job working 8-9 hours a day. So guess who's answering all Tia phone calls? That virtual assistant. Look how genius this becomes for people that have a job. Put a number 3 in the chat if this makes sense, that you can be like Tia, have a job, be involved in your community, still take care of your family, but you're housing people that can cook their own bologna sandwich. You're housing people that can take their own medications without Tia being a nurse. Now, Tia worked in a hospital, y'all, but as far as I know, Tia ain't no nurse. Tia do a lot of stuff. Multi-talented, own businesses. She's involved in real estate. But one day Tia said, man, how can I involve more of the love of God in what I do? That job, all right, but what can I do that God will smile down upon me on? Because I didn't make this up, y'all. The Bible said that the poor and the needy will always be among us. The Bible also says that we should take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. Tia looked like she's following the instructions of what God said first, and in our coaching next. Because all this is, y'all, you can get as fancy as you want and call this whatever you want to. But guess what this really is, y'all? This is the love of God and social services and real estate mixed together. Does that make sense, everybody? Two of y'all type in the word yes if all of this makes sense. This does not require a license. This was now, unlike Tia owns that property. Lord have mercy. Most of y'all that's going to bump into me, you guys are going to be just like I started. You're going to have to go and rent or lease a place, which is absolutely okay. I got a bunch of rentals and a bunch of leases, and I'm a part of a bunch of them. We're now in 34 states, over 390 ILFs, guys, through the coaching and teaching of what this is. Super proud of all of the new people that just joined us. Y'all just still happen to be in the same states as some of the other people, but we're in over 35 states now. Katara, when you first met us, I think we were in like 12 states, 13-ish. When you first came to one of them master classes, till we in over 35 states now. And guess who? Guess why we keep adding to that number? Because Katara just got a house. Tia just finished and rehabbed her house. See how that happens? So that don't mean that I have that many, y'all. Somebody thinking, wow, Dick, you got a lot of houses. Me and my wife have a handful. I'm also partner in a bunch of them. But through the family and the way we teach this, when you guys get one, we just keep adding to that number. That's what that means. Guys, I don't have 390 of these. That's through the teaching and the consulting of it. So one more time, really slowly, for anybody that just joined us, if you love God, love people, love real estate, like this is it. Show me something that's better than you, other than you going to go buy a church building and you becoming a pastor and then trying to preach to people. And like, guys, I'm also in ministry, but I'll never have this platform to where I got a church maybe or a congregation and I got this microphone. Now, trust me, I got a microphone. I got a few of these, but guys, this is my platform. God told me to go through the bumps and bruises of this, figure it out, and then come back and teach it to other people. So that's my whole life, y'all. Everything that I get into, I mess it up, I screw it up, don't do a great job at it, but then through God and I, we iron it out. And then my job is to come back and teach it to everybody. That's my whole life. Most of y'all people done hid this from you. Type the word yes in the chat if that word was you, because I was that same guy. People hid this concept from us, y'all. So guess what we eventually came up with? From idea to implementation. Because Katara, most of these people, sis, were just like you one day. Katara, you've been around a long time now. I think Katara just put in the chat, yep, bro, it was 12. Like, we were in 12 states. We're in 35 states now. And because the AJ family is from Ohio, that didn't count. I got a bunch of y'all over there in all parts of Ohio, so that don't count again, right? So there's just more people in Ohio. The Malone family, she's from, where did she tell me she's from? It's somewhere again that's we're already at. So again, a lot of people have been hiding this from you, but that's why God put me in your path. Because from idea to implementation, a lot of y'all had the idea to do this. You just had no clue how to put it together. First step is turn yourself into a business. We talked about what an ILF is. It's just an environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or oversight. So I don't need ACA and DCF and all of these different permissions from all of these people. And not only do we go by this, but guys, we trademarked it. So if you go to that website where you can look up trademarks, you're going to see my name. You're going to see my family's name there. We trademarked it. But guys, all it is a shared living environment. And as this social worker, as you see in this picture with my shirt and tie, guys, I saw this kind of stuff. Bad conditions, burnt down kitchens, and people still living in it. You think Tia kitchen look like that? Stop it, y'all. You think Katara putting people on the ground like that picture is showing y'all? And I often tell people that if this don't break your heart, then this probably ain't also for you. This should break your heart, because I saw a lady making $41,000 a month doing this, y'all, and these were the conditions of it. Put a number 7 in the chat if that break your heart a little bit. To see somebody bed on cinder blocks, because I jokingly always say this, but if you ain't got your glasses on today, what's holding this one set of beds up on the right, y'all, is cinder blocks. 2 of y'all, please tell me that you can see this in the chat. I mean, see this on my screen, because I would hate to be thinking I'm showing y'all something and y'all can't see it. Do y'all see that bed on cinder blocks? Can you imagine making $41,000 a month doing this model, but you mistreating people? Look how the bed is on the floor. No bed rails. the fan sitting on a banana box and a microwave look like. Like, I don't understand that. And again, at 41 grand a month, you would house people like this? Okay, now I'm gonna move on from that because y'all know for the ones that been around a lot, like y'all know I can stay on that one slide for 55 minutes. In fact, if you're new to us, text the word new. I want to give you guys a free gift if you haven't done it already. But if you're new to us, text the word new, just NEW. I want to give you guys our newest ebook for absolute free starting November 1st. That book will be $37, but it's called How to Avoid the ILF Fiasco. And I want you guys to text that to the phone number that I'm also going to put on screen. And also, if you're interested in our ILF Mastery Blueprint coaching, that's $7,500. If you want that for $3,750 and go half with somebody, if you and your friend or however, $3,750, guys, just text the word half and you can also get that. And again, big shout out to the Malone family too. That's exactly what they jumped on. So big shout out to you guys. But again, yes, if you want our one-on-one coaching, the ILF Mastery Blueprint, text the word half to 407-326-0086. But also text that in a separate chat, the word new. Right? So text the word new if you want to get our absolute newest ebook. How to Avoid That $40,000 lawsuit I went through is also in that book. So I don't hide nothing from you guys in terms of that. So I want to keep you guys out of trouble. But guys, once, I prayed and begged and cried to God that I want to do this, obviously we had to change it. And now this is kind of what we make it look like, right? So this isn't rocket science. Again, I'm not the smartest guy in the classroom, but you don't have to be to have the love of God in you, right? And when I found out that it didn't require a license because I'm housing people that are independent, to me, that was the whole cheat code to all of this, because now I don't need a license. I don't have to waste 3 or 4 years trying to get a place open. I can go out and lease and rent a place. Now, some of y'all, prime example, the AJ family, they're looking to buy a property. Just like Derek. So what's your opinion on buying and renting? Well, 96% of people that come to me, they're going to rent that place. They're going to lease it. But if you're blessed enough in your current situation to buy a property, I'll absolutely tell you to buy it, because now we don't need permission from nobody, because half of my coaching is trying to convince somebody to say yes to you to rent that place. Shake your head yes if you're in my coaching, you had to go through that, right? So half of the coaching, again, is trying to teach you how do we formulate that spiel just right to convince people through relationship, through words and verbiage, and through proof of concept to allow them to say yes to rent or lease you that place. But if you own the property, man, we're skipping all of that now. So big shout out to the AJ family that said, Derek, no, we good, bro. Like, we gonna look into buying a place. Wow. Right? So again, that's just my opinion on that. If you can buy it, let's buy it and let's go. Right? And if you just want to know my opinion on which model, 1 bed, 2 bath, 2 bed, 2 bath, 3-2, 4-2, my favorite model is the 4-2. Right? All of them work. I can go and get a 1-1, y'all. I can get a 2-1 and make it work. But my favorite model, when people say, well, Derek, what is your favorite? Because I know you got big ones. Derek, you got 7-bedroom houses, and you got 8-bedroom, and you got 4 bedrooms, and you got 2 bedrooms. That 4-2 is my absolute favorite, y'all. That's a manageable number. Now, for somebody like Tia, watch this. Tia, again, is not doing what you see on this screen. That's just not her cup of tea. Now, will she always do that? I don't know. You can ask her. She in the room. But again, for a 4-bed, 2-bath model with this bed set up, Tia, I'm putting 8 people in my place. But what if you like Tia and say, boy, I sure like that less people, less problems. Tia gonna do 4 people and everybody get their own room. So you guys have choices in terms of what does the community dictate. For what I'm hearing from Katara, her new place is the same way. She's only doing 1 person per room, but for a little bit of a different reason. Now we talk about measurements and how big is the room and all of that. Katara shared that the rooms may not be big enough to where she's comfortable with putting the 2 beds. So Katara knew his place. And Katara, if I'm wrong, you tell me in the chat. But I think Katara said that she's going to do 1 person per room and be just like Tia. But guess what's been my favorite thing lately, Tia? is to take that 4-bed, 2-bath, like the one I showed you guys on my Facebook page just 2 days ago, that blue and white house. Guess what I do now, Tia? So in 2 of those rooms, I do want that room to look just like what you see on that screen. I want 4 people in 2 rooms, meaning 1 room, 2 people, next room, 2 people. But guess what I'm doing to them other 2 rooms? I'm doing Tia's model now. So now I got 6 people in the 4-2 versus the 8 people. Put a number 9 in the chat if you like that math and you like that scenario. And that's what I like about this model, y'all. It's so flexible. My brother used to say that all the time. The ILF model is so flexible because you run this program, your decisions, your choices. But again, if you like Tia's model is there, less people, less problems, and I'm always going to probably do this model. Tia said that's what makes this genius. She said before I did, you got choices. Now, Tia, just because people may be wondering, Tia, will you always do private rooms or will you eventually go into the 2 per room? Because the way I teach it, as she's answering it in the chat, if you got the ability and the math makes sense, because some of us, the rent gonna be so high, the mortgage gonna be so high, we gotta put 2 people in each room to make the math work. Tia is very blessed, y'all. And the way that I view it, if the math makes sense and you're able to be profitable at the number you're satisfied with, and I say that again, that you're satisfied with, because everybody's profit margins are different. If the numbers make sense, I'll go private, 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 private. Because in my thinking, if everybody's got their own room, what are we arguing about? Why should we have any fights, any disagreements? Because most of the private guys got their own TV in their room too, right, Tia? Right, Katara? So, like, prime example, my largest house to date can fit probably 15 people in it comfortably. But because now everybody want their own private room, the numbers have went down dramatically. Now that master bedroom, we still do what we do, but everybody wants the private room now, and everybody got their own TV. And see, that's coaching on a different side of it, but Tia said the next house will be 2 per room. So look at how she's able to, what they would call diversify. That's no different from Tia having a stock portfolio. She's diversifying. This first house, Tia said everybody got their own room. Next house, you just saw it in the chat. She gonna do 2 people per room. So again, Katara said I was correct about what I said about her. So now Katara, let's already forecast. What are you doing for your next property, Katara? Are you doing all privates? Will you split it up like the example I just gave? Because that's now become my favorite. Give me that 4-2, and I don't want 8 people. I don't want 2 people per room. I want 2 rooms private, 2 rooms shared. Or maybe 3 rooms private, 1 room shared. See how many choices you got in that? So to me, again, guys, y'all see how I get excited over this? And guess what? All of this is about helping people. Again, Derek did say, y'all, it's in the Bible, the poor will always be among us. Somebody gonna slip in life. Somebody gonna have a little downside to life and they're gonna have to downgrade. Somebody not gonna make the best choices in life and they're gonna need y'all because the apartment gonna be too expensive. To buy a house gonna be too expensive. They can't pass the background check. They don't have a double deposit, a triple deposit. They don't have the first, last, and security, Katara. Katara, how many people you interviewed that only had the money to move in right now? They don't have the double deposit, Katara. Tia ain't charging a deposit. Tia's not charging a double deposit. She's not charging a security deposit. Guys, they don't have all of that. And that's why this model is needed. And when it's got its own bathroom, this is what you're calling the private suite now. So again, private suite means it has its own bathroom. Private room just means, hey man, you got your own room and you never have to share it. I went too far, y'all. Hold on. Let me go back. So this same setup minus that bathroom is just a private room. When Tia put that room suite on it, the price change and it brings about a different customer. That military veteran that they get $3,000 a month and not that normal 900 like the rest of your guys, Tia, he don't want to share no room. I bet you right now Tia can tell y'all what that call sounds like when the guy say, oh yeah, well actually no, Tia can't. Katara can't because Tia don't do shared anyway. Now Tia can tell you what it sounds like when they are looking for the shared and all she got is private. But Katara get this call all the time. Hey, yeah, I want that private room y'all got. Yep, and my income $620 a month. Ugh. He probably don't have enough for it. Everybody wants the private room, but most of them can't afford it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to move on, right? Because I got a family here that is asking this. Matthew family, this is y'all biggest question, right? You said, what is the difference between the ILF and a licensed group home? First of all, getting it started, there's no license required to this. We taught a lady this by the name of Francesca Dawson. Most people here know her. She's got both. She's got an ILF and an APD. APD stands for Agency with Persons with Disabilities, right? A licensed group home. Francesca got into the ILF, y'all, in 3 months and had 3 houses. It took her 3 years to get her first facility with the APD. Walkthrough, sprinkler system, staff, oversight from her state, city. It's governed. She drowns in paperwork. Now, does she love it? She absolutely loves it. Now, she will tell you that paperwork, woo, she drowns in it. She's very honest about that. She doesn't like the paperwork. But other than that, she absolutely loves them both. But when you ask about startability, if that's a word, which one can I start faster without less headache and get started now? What you think funded the licensed place? She had all of these ILFs now. Cost effective, affordability, community, all those things. So again, no staff is required for the ILF, y'all, which also makes it more affordable to start. Francesca's looking for staff right now. So if you're a licensed nurse, and Francesca probably ain't even on here, but I'm gonna hear some free ads right now on me. If you're an LPN, registered nurse, or you got those licensed to work to care for people that are in an APD, let us know. Francesca's actually looking for staff and pays really well, right? Now, the ILF, Francesca doesn't need staff because all of her clients are independent. The people that are in her APD, they need help all around the clock. They have to be watched 24 hours a day, be taken on trips, outings, have to feed them. Certain things have to be in the refrigerator. People come through and literally tour her refrigerator and freezer. You should have seen the protocol she went through during these storms. In fact, I need to pull Francesca on here. You guys need to hear that from her. All of the protocol that she had to have for each different person. Each person has their own, per se, case manager. Wow. So again, this is the reason why we like the ILF model, this shared environment. No staff. I don't even have to own the place. Francesca owns the property she's doing this out of, y'all. Can't go rent that place. ILF, shared housing, allows residents to have one payment that covers all expenses, rent, utility, everything's a one-stop shop. Another thing that I like about the ILF model, a lot of the people that I'm housing, y'all, they're very handy. They can fix things. That's not a company that I call right here, guys. This is 2 of my clients fixing my garbage disposal and one of my ILFs. Katara, you know what? You know how helpful that is not to have to use that insurance that I tell y'all to get? Tia, you know how powerful that is that these guys want to fix my sink? They take pride in that. Like, guys, when I first started, now I'm going to be honest, I did hire staff and I had a maintenance guy, I had a landscaper, I hired people to come in to clean. That was dumb. All of these people that you're housing with this model, they can do all of that stuff. And guys, they want to do it. That's what's so powerful about it. And right behind me, some of y'all can see my little white vision board thing behind me, but on that board, I've always written, Tia, that I want to house these guys, but I want to give them a job too if I'm able to. Why y'all think I just started this power washing company? Not all for me. I want to be able to give these guys jobs because my coaching will teach you keep them busy and you keep them out of trouble. Type amen in the chat if you believe that. Because again, if I'm keeping my guys busy, I'm keeping them out of trouble as well, and it's giving them something to do, and it put money in their pocket. so they don't go do stupid stuff. Does that make sense, everybody? Or am I just blabbering? But these are all the reasons why I like to do this. Them same landscapers I used to hire, man, these guys say, Mr. Derek, if you just go get me a weed eater and a lawnmower, we'll do it. Why are you paying these guys? Ding, 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 dummy me. Thinking I'm all big and bad. Thinking that was dumb, y'all. Housekeeping, cooking, and other responsibilities are shared among the tenants. With that licensed facility, guys, you got to have an industrial kitchen. You got to have a set menu. You got to shop for food a certain way according to their nutritional needs. Guys, I don't know what these guys want to eat because they cook their own food. And it keep you out of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. All of that, what I just talked about, was for the ILF. Now, this licensed group home, and watch this, because somebody will say, wow, Derek, man, you really don't like these licensed places, right? Well, no. Don't get it twisted. I got nothing against it because they all got their own place. But when you talk about getting started right now, easier, faster, and maybe start your license place later like Francesca did. Why take 3 years to start a place and then go get an ILF? No, start ILF now and get your license place later. Seems like that just makes sense to me because now you will learn some stuff and you will figure out whether you like this or not. Does that make sense, everybody? License group home, you need staff. That's the first thing on this slide. Them people work at that place. You got to hire these folks. The clients at a licensed place, you better not have them working and cutting grass. Oversight from your state and your county. I think it said country there. All this oversight. State regulations. Compliance. Y'all ought to see the paperwork Francesca has to do every month to keep that place open and alive. And again, guys, she loves the business itself and helping people, but she'll tell you about that paperwork. And very expensive to hire somebody. In this model, clients are not independent when the place has to be licensed. That's the whole reason why you need a license, guys. That's the difference in what we do, remember? You got to have a sprinkler system, fire alarm system. And if you're in Florida, we've all heard of AHCA, the Chief Health Policy and Planning Entity for the U.S. state of Florida. Nothing gets open in terms of a group home, an IDD, APD without going through these people. You're going to get to know them real well. If you're in Texas, you probably got to go through the Texas Health and Human Services Commission. If you're in North Carolina, which all kind of bad things have happened there lately, I'm sure there's a wait list that's even longer than usual. You probably got to go through this department. Guys, I got them all here for you. You in Georgia? Georgia Department of Community Health, dedicated to providing access to affordable quality health care. All them kind of places that need a license. If you in Virginia, getting a lot of y'all folks from over there, Virginia Department of Medical Assistance Services. It's the agency that administers Medicaid and the State Children's Health Insurance Program, the CHIP program. All you guys say, well, yeah, but my heart is for the kids. I want to help the children. No problem. But you got to go through these people. It's a lengthy process. And not that you can't do it. But y'all, I'm a coach. I'm a consultant. I see a lot. A lot of people don't have what it takes, like Francesca. 3 years for somebody to say, yes, you can do this now. Lord have mercy. Think about if you bought that property. You leased that property and it takes 3 years to get your yes. Nothing wrong with getting this, guys, but why not get something that's not going to take so long? We're going to take a break real quick, right? And when we come back, I'm going to talk about the future of independent living facilities. Why is this the newest way that a lot of people will have to live? But why is this also the newest way that people like Miss Tia, Katara, myself, Tiffany, Dornico, the Jones family, the Marsha family, the Franklin family, why is this going to be the new way that we're also going to be able to invest in real estate? No more renting one house to one family for one income. Why not do a model like this, where Tia go and take that 4-bed, 2-bath home and house 4 people that will be homeless on the street without her program, and they all pay rent. Not one set of rent coming in. One asset rented to multiple people for multiple incomes. We'll be right back. If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. Make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Don't forget, if you text the word HALF, HALF, you can get our one-on-one coaching for half off the original price, right? No questions asked. Text the word HALF, HALF, just that one word to 407-326-0086. In fact, we're scrolling it right now across the bottom of your screen. And also, if you text that phrase more info, that'll give you our introductory webinar. When I come on these lives, I just treat y'all like family, and we just kind of bounce all over the place and we hit certain topics. But that introductory webinar explains how to get started, what this is in a chronological order, right? It's more in order, right? Versus me just kind of bouncing all over, just giving value in different places. So again, text the phrase more info. That's just MOREINFO to that phone number scrolling below. And again, to get our newest ebook, you just text the word new, because as of November 1st, that book will be for sale, and it's called How to Avoid the ILF Fiasco, right? Avoiding the 12 dumbest mistakes I ever made. And I list all 12 of those mistakes out in terms of what was dumb about it and what we should have done. So that's why I like that book. That's probably, besides my original book, guys, the one that I first wrote ever, that's probably now my most favorite book. And I think I got about 8 books out now. But How to Avoid the ILF Fiasco is absolutely free to you all, because again, to me, I listed the 12 dumbest, and my team didn't allow me to use the word dumbest. So I think they changed it. I can't even remember, but I wanted to name 12 dumbest because I thought they were dumb after you learn it. But guys, the 12 dumbest mistakes that I made, you guys get that book for free. So just text the word new, N-E-W, to 407-326-0086. And one of the biggest mistakes in that book, again, guys, was that $40,000 lawsuit. I talk about it in that book. And I also talk about the opposite of what you should have done. So a lot of times people will write a book and just talk about kind of the thing, but I also did a different side of that book too. I think I even did it in bold writing. I think my team did it that way, where we talked about what we should have done and what was the difference in those two, right? So back to today's topic, again, the future of independent living, and more so importantly, shared housing. Guys, things are just really expensive, right? Things are super, super expensive no matter where you live at, all 50 states. Obviously, California is more expensive than Alabama, right? And New York is more expensive than just, say, Georgia. But no matter where you live at, guys, it's expensive everywhere. And quite frankly, the shared model is what a lot of people are going to anyway, where multiple families are housing together. That's where you may have a family, but cousin and Auntie Joanne and Uncle Jojo and everybody else has to move in now because the mortgage or the rent is so high, nobody can afford it on their own. So essentially what they're doing is putting all their funds together and living together. Now, on a whole nother side of things, there's a certain population of people, and I'll even say ethnic groups of people, that this is what they just believe in anyway, because they just think it's smart. Prime example, right? And this is no knock. This ain't no racism or any of that stuff. But I live in an area where I grew up, especially in the Polk County area, and Tia can attest to this, where the Hispanic culture, they've always worked together, meaning that if it's 10 of them, they're going to work together until they got enough money to buy Jose his first truck. When Jose get his truck, we all work together again until Raphael get his truck, and so on and so on. And then they buy a house. But everything's done together, and then they branch off and help everybody. First of all, that's a genius concept. Most of the African-American concept, we don't really like that. Even though it's so smart, we just want our own, right? And there's a lot of cultures that do that, but I'll just pick on ours for now because that's me. And I'll talk about the Hispanic culture because that's what I've seen. They do a really great job of working together and putting the funds together to make it work for everybody at the end. That's no different from what we're seeing now in just regular life with real estate and housing, because it's so expensive that families are moving in together. I even read an article where families are now buying bigger houses and 2 or 3 families are moving in again together just to be able to afford it. So again, on one side of it, it's the affordability for the people. You guys are being asked by us and employed by us to say, start your own housing program so that you can house people in environments that look like this, because they can't afford their own apartment. They can't afford to go out and buy their own house. Their background may be stopping them from that. Their financial state may be stopping them from that. But what if they can afford a shared living environment? Most of y'all know that this all started because I worked in a mental health hospital. So my love is the mental health folks, people that got depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, because they run into problems in life and they end up homeless. And that's just where my heart is. But guess what's been happening over the last 2 or 3 years, though? We're housing the everyday Joe, as I would say, or the everyday person that there is no mental health. There is no physical health. He just can't afford this dadgum apartment now. The wife and him got divorced and they can't afford to live together. So guys, we see all kinds of situations now. And if you're a housing provider with us, you should type, yep, because you see it too. And guys, it's all over the world where things are getting tighter and tighter. Jobs aren't paying what they should, but everything keeps going up. Grocery, lights, water, cable, Wi-Fi, all of these things where people say, man, I can't afford to live on my own now. So sometimes living to this shared living environment, people have to, just because of what it's come to. It wasn't always at a point where people had to live together, but now because things are so expensive, this is becoming a choice for a lot of people because now they have no choice. Does that make sense, everybody? So again, this shared living environment, these shared accommodations is what people can afford now. Now watch me go on the investor side of it. A lot of you guys in here are also investors. You love God, you love people, and you love real estate. So on the investor side, because I do both of these, I house families, I house women and children, but the ILF model is for the single adult male, the single adult female. Now I take that same property. Watch this. And I'm going to just give you an example of a property that I have in Georgia. I have a 3-bed, 2-bath home in Warner Robins, Georgia, right? A lot of you guys have seen those pictures, the rehab and all of that stuff. It's a family that lives there. And according to my property manager, who gave me all the details about everything, she said, well, Derek, wife and husband are kind of not together anymore. Husband's gone, but the wife is a pretty good lady, real decent, still paying the rent. And she's got 2 kids before all this happened. But guess what happened over the last year and a half, y'all? She got pregnant, had an addition to the family. So now it's mom and 3 kids. Guys, if I remember correctly, we collect about $1,400 in rent on that property. If I take that same property as an investor and say, you know what? I'm not doing families no more. I can be like Tia, and I can put 1 person per room, and that's 3 people. In Warner Robins, Georgia, I can probably pull that off at $700 to $800 per room. Let's go on the low end. If I do $700 per room, and the master is bigger, so I can actually do $800 in that one. But let's just say for easy math, and I'm no math genius, but 7 times 3 is 21. You mean to tell me I can go from $1,400 a month to $2,100? That's a $700 increase just by changing the model as the investor? Lord have mercy. Now you talk about times in that 700 times 12. Somebody help me in the chat. What's 700 times 12? Because now that's the difference in what I'm making as the investor, just simply from going from housing a mom, dad, and 3 kids to housing 3 people. Somebody please put that in the chat, because now I'm going to go to 6 people. And because I talk fast, I'm going to slow it down. We got a house in Warner Robins, Georgia, that I house a mom and 3 kids. $1,400 in rent. I now go to the model where I house just 3 people in that place and give them all their private room for $700. 700 times 3 is 2,100, y'all. So now that extra 700 times 12 is what? Somebody please put that in the chat for me. What is that math? That's what we're getting extra now as the investor. See how smart that is? But what if you're not like Tia? What if you're not like Katara's newest place to where she's doing only private rooms? And nah, Derek, I want to help more people. And Derek, I want to get this money. Derek, I'm doing 2 people per room. And Derek, I'm going to do 600 per bed. Guys, in that 3-2, I now take 6 people from homeless to hopeful. 600 times 6 people is $3,600. You just now went from 1,400 to 3,600? Now do you see why people call this real estate on steroids, Tia? Now, we don't call it that, but a lot of people that meet us for the first time and realize what this model is, they say, wow, this is like real estate on steroids. Yes, because I just took my $1,400 a month that I was getting, put it on steroids, and now it's getting $3,600. And guess what? The crazy part about making more money in this business is because you're helping more people. Now, Tia only going to help 3 people in this model. But maybe you say, no, that's nice and all to help 3 people, but I want to help 6 people. You just now went from that to $3,600 from $1,400. See why I give the example now that this is the new way that people are going to have to live, and one of the new ways for investors to make money now in a different way, but still be a blessing to their community, to the local hospital, to the local social services. You're talking about relationship. And if you missed our class the other night, big shout out to everybody that came to our workshop the other night that we talked about how to leverage relationships in the community, and we brought on Miss Desiree. If you missed that, God bless you. Now, if you IMB and you missed it, you get the replay for free. If you're an ILF Mastery Blueprint member on any level, whether that's the accelerator, whether that's that special cohort of people, the ICC that I launched months ago, or whether you're just regular IMB, you get that for free. Now, if you want to pay for it, it was only $97, and we do allow the replay. So it's only $97, but you missed a great class, great workshop. In fact, I got more value out of that than I think maybe y'all did. Right? And to me, that was probably one of our best workshops in a long time, simply just because of the value and also what we talked about. And you guys hear me run my big mouth all the time, but to bring Miss Desiree on, an actual provider, to speak to you about how to make your program better through her services, I think that was a great workshop. But anyway, back to that point. That's, again, what we're talking about, guys, when we talk about how is this the best way for people, and how is it the best way for investors? For people, it makes it affordable. I meet people all the time and say, wow, Mr. Derek, you only charge $740 for this bed, this shared environment, and you guys pay the lights, y'all pay the water, you pay the Wi-Fi, Derek, you pay the security system, and you give me my own door code. Like, Derek, all of this, my bedding, the bed, the furniture, refrigerator, and Derek, I just come and live for that one set price? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Okay? So, I'm going to give y'all something that I'm going to call a real-time. I'm going to make a name for this, but I'm going to give y'all an example of a call I got yesterday. I want to name this. I'll just call it real-time example. Jess made a call to me yesterday, my assistant, and told me that she had a great referral for me. And before I even got on the phone, it was known or let be known that this guy only wanted a private room. So either something like this or something like this. But guess what he really wanted, and why the reason he didn't move in? Because the room didn't have the bathroom. So I had a private room, but I didn't have a private suite. So sometimes people are going to turn down your housing according to what it is, according to what they want. Now watch this. When we first got on the phone with him, he was the greatest guy ever. Still is. And I was like, wow. And when he began to tell his story, he was living in a garage, y'all. A hot garage. But guess what? The garage actually had a bathroom in it. That's the only reason why he stayed. So even though it's hot in the garage, it's uncomfortable, bugs crawling underneath the door, let him tell it, the bathroom was the breaking point for him. He didn't want to share a bathroom with other people. That's just a real-time example of how this works in the housing when people have a preference, or maybe some of the calls that you will get. Because the first 5 minutes of this call, I'm like, man, God, send me 10 more people just like this guy. perfect age, perfect attitude. I mean, everything was perfect about this guy. His income was perfect. He had enough money for the private room with a lot left over. Katara, it was one of those perfect ones. Put a number 1 in the chat if you've ever interviewed somebody that was perfect, but for one small reason, it didn't work out. In fact, I'm going to be the first one because that just happened to me yesterday. Number 1, I'm the first one to put that in the chat. I wanted this guy, great guy, but because I didn't have the private suite available, he said, man, yeah, I got to pass up on that, bro. Yeah, if you guys don't have it like this, I'm going to have to, pass up on that. So no problem. And right before I begin to close, another question that came from the Marshall family, populations that you can serve, I'm going to name a bunch of them. But I teach it this way that let the community dictate the need and also your lifestyle. So if you're somebody like Tia and a lot of people that I've named today, Katara, that are very busy, you got a lot going on, I always give this one population as the example to it because it makes the most sense. If you got a lot going on in your life, it's hard to choose the population of the teenagers aging from the foster care system because even though they're adults, they still need a lot of care, cuddling, attention, hand-holding per se, because again, not a fault of their own, but they've been raised the wrong way, y'all. They was born into drugs, meaning when mom was pregnant, mom was on heroin, crack, marijuana, and beer. So when the kid was born 19 years later, he's a mess. So again, if you don't have the time, the heart, the patience, and you got 3 jobs, you own 3 businesses, and you do all of this stuff in your community, I'm going to just say that you'll be doing this population more of a disservice versus a service because your lifestyle is so busy. So notice the order in which I put these, and it's some good coaching. I put lifestyle first. Then I put choose by allowing the community to dictate what the need is. Because if I put those backwards and put the community first, it'll override your lifestyle, and that's not fair to you or the population you're going to serve. That's powerful. You got to put the lifestyle first. And I honestly believe that God is also going to choose that through you, again, because God knows your lifestyle. Today, there is no way that I can take care of a population of teenagers aging from the foster care system unless I put staff in it, because they just need a lot more attention than my guy that's 6 to 8 years old and he's a military veteran and don't want to be bothered. So lucky for me, because again, I think God just blessed it that way. God allowed my lifestyle and what the community is dictating to match me all in one with the desire of what my favorite is anyway. God has always put elderly people on my heart, right? God has always put the older people like that. They just break my heart when they homeless. And then the military veteran, the guy that served our country, and now he needs some help and we can't help him. So there's a lot of things. Oh, here's another real-time disclaimer. I don't know if I should even say this live because that may, let me think about that, y'all. Give me 8 seconds. I'm going to be careful how I word this, but watch this. When I'm doing my assessment, and my IMB people know exactly where I'm going with this, and if y'all don't get it, we'll go into this in our private coaching. When I'm doing my assessments, I teach you guys what to look for, what to listen for, how to make decisions. But I'm going to be just real honest with y'all, right? I'm going to be careful how I say this. When I'm interviewing a military veteran that has served this country, that has almost risked his life, laid down all of his ideas aside for this country, for things that we enjoy today, they may get a little bit more grace in what I'm looking for in my answers. They may get a little bit more grace on what I'm willing to accept because they really need a hand up, right? And I'm going to just leave that like that. And most of the time, it's the elderly adult anyway. I don't get a lot of 32-year-old guy that calls himself a veteran because he's been dishonorably discharged. Or honorably, don't matter. What calls our phones and what seeks us out is usually that older gentleman. But let the lifestyle and let the community be the first 2 things that guide you in what you're going to eventually end up serving, who you're going to serve, not what, excuse me, who you're going to end up serving. But to the bottom line of it, real quick, 18 years and older. I jokingly tell people that to live in my place, you could be 18 or 118. But the moment you turn 119, we got to find you somewhere else to live. I'm not jokingly say that. I just showing you my range. Again, on my social media, I got a picture of one of my oldest clients to date, over the age of 90. But he's an avid bike rider, healthy, sharp as a tack in his brain. I pray to be like that in my 90s. Elderly adults, I just talked about that for 5 minutes, my favorite, right? Military veterans, they kind of go hand in hand, right? The working individual, I'll admit, I like this guy too. I like this lady too, because they didn't meet the criteria of what I first started with, meaning the mental health, the physical health. They actually got a job at Sonny's Barbecue. They got a job as a substitute school teacher. They got a job at Burger King, McDonald's. See where I'm going with that? The local gas station. So again, back to even today's title, what is in your hand? That kind of just simply means start where you are. And for a lot of you guys, that HRA model, the Housing Referral Agency, that's where you're going to start anyway, whether you have a house or not. So make sure that you follow the instruction that is streaming below by texting that phrase more info to that phone number. That'll give you both of our webinars, both the HRA, meaning the Housing Referral Agency. How can you house the homeless and the displaced and never need property? That's what that one explains. And then the other one is the ILF, is pretty much kind of what we talked about today a lot, meaning you running this program yourself right now today. But if you don't have a house and God has still put it on your heart, you're supposed to be doing the HRA. Miss Linda just launched in Orlando, Florida. Tia's got a place in Haines City, Florida. Dominique's got a place in Haines City, Florida, and they all need their beds filled. You can be a part of that and charge every one of them. Hey, Miss Tia, got a great lady, heard you housing women. She's 63 years old, Miss Tia. Great lady, but can you assess her to make sure she's a good fit for your program? Tia and her team gonna check out that lady. If that lady move in, boom, Tia owe you a referral fee. So you should be asking Tia right now, hey Tia, how can I contact you? I tell you guys all the time to network in the chat. In fact, just do that now. Even for the people that see this on the replay, put in the chat, where are you located? How many beds you got available? And who do you intake? Are you like Tia and you do all private rooms? Do you do the shared environment? Are you accepting working individuals or people that only receive SSI and SSDI? Qatar's in South Carolina. Like, I would put that in the chat every time I come here, right? For people that see it now, but for the hundreds of people that go back and watch the replay. So again, you know, I got a client just the other day by simply posting in our local Orlando free community group. Orlando's got this free page on Facebook. It's called Orlando Free Promo. We posting there kind of often. Some guy who owns a construction company, right, got his employee who's a great worker but nowhere to live. This guy is smart enough that he got a great employee that he'll pay for this guy. Move-in fee, first week rent, just to get the guy and keep this guy on his feet because the guy needs him as an employee. Genius of that guy. Genius of us to post it there. And look how everybody won from that. First of all, the client won because he's not homeless and he'll keep his job. The employer, the guy that owns the construction company, he's got his main guy that lay piping and all that stuff on the ground, somewhere to live, but he's not worried about, boy, if I lose this guy, if he become homeless, he gonna disappear. Because that's his bread and butter. And then I win because I collect rent every 2 weeks now because the guy get paid bi-weekly. And I get to do the will of God because I'm housing somebody who would be homeless on the street without me. See how everybody wins? And then watch this. And then God gets all the glory for it. Bang. That's it. I think that's a great way to wrap this room up today. Nice, short, and sweet. I'm right under an hour. And as I talked about earlier, teens aging from the foster care system, right? And just make sure that you listen to me good on this one, because I've seen this so many times. A lot of people, and this ain't you, but a lot of people want to do this population, but don't have the heart for it, the patience, the time, the surrounding, the support, and quite frankly, not to bash their programs, but a lot of times when you get these kids, and I'll call them kids still because they're 18 and 19 and 20, even the programs they're coming from, there's not a lot of support once you get them. It's like, okay, you guys can pick up Jenny on Thursday at 6. When you guys get Jenny, pretty much a lot of these programs will turn their back on you. They have nothing to do with Jenny. Jenny breaking windows, Jenny running away. She's sneaking the boyfriend in the window. Like, trust me, y'all, if your heart truly ain't in this and God ain't called you to it, make sure you really think about this population before you get into it. Also, think about all the populations, right? I always say this too. If you are generally a person that doesn't have patience, if people said to you before, man, you know what? You're not a people's person. If somebody's ever said that to you, just make sure that you're moving in the right direction, or just allow God to soften your heart. Because again, this is truly a ministry, y'all. Although it involves real estate, it involves these beautiful beds and all of this stuff. If you don't have the love for God in your heart, these beds are baloney. Who cares about these beds if you ain't gonna treat people the right way? I told you guys, I saw a lady making 41 grand a month doing this. Not a year, a month. But she was housing people in rats and roaches. That's not how this is done. Like, this is what we're going to make it look like. And it is not, again, rocket science to make it look like this. Walmart, Roses, Marshalls, Ross. Very affordable, gently used items, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you see in this picture, other than the pillow, the sheets, and the comforter, and those towels, everything else is gently used, y'all. That lamp came from a hotel that saw what we were doing. That dresser, hotel. Those headboards, hotel. Mattresses, hotel. Comforter, Walmart. Pillow, Walmart. Sheets, Walmart. Towel, Walmart. Washcloth, Walmart. Inside of that drawer, toothpaste, toothbrush, mouthwash, soap, donated to us through Matthew's Hope program here in Orlando. So again, guys, your job is to get the word out about what this is. Okay? Shared housing, which we call independent living facility. If you're late and you just joined us, make sure you watch this replay, but definitely follow the instruction that's streaming below at the bottom there. And we don't talk much about this, but I want to make sure that I show you, because somebody's probably saying, well, Derek, man, how y'all gonna make money and these people homeless? Guys, they receive a guaranteed income that the government takes care of. So when you hear us talk about we receive guaranteed income like Section 8 and military pay, that's what this means, y'all. Okay? I don't depend on probably 95% of my guys. I don't depend on them guys to go to work and get a paycheck. Now, this guy just moved in. I want him to go to work every day, because if he don't go to work, he don't get no money. But 95% of my clients, that money's coming through SSI, SSDI, or some kind of community-funded program. SSDI just simply means that they had a job years ago at Walmart, Winn-Dixie. They used to be a police officer. They used to be a school teacher, a lawyer. SSDI simply means that they're going to give you a Social Security income because of your disability, but also because you had a job back in the day. The guy to get SSI, he's probably never had a job. Some judge, some lawyer, some doctor got together and said, man, you know what? Mr. Thomas can't work, man. You know, his back ain't quite what it used to be, and his mental health is surely not where it was. Let's give him $900 a month so that he can at least live, have grocery, a place to stay. Now, is that truly enough, y'all? Not really. That's why this shared living environment is so important and why you need to get started. If you don't start something like this, there will be people that will be homeless because you didn't get started. Well, that's a strong statement, Tia. Somebody not going to like that. I'm sorry. If you don't get started and create a bedroom that looks like this, somebody going to be homeless on the street, and you could have been the answer to their prayer. And God going to show it to you one day. One day in heaven, God going to show us missed opportunities. He going to show us all the great things that we did. Until what I don't want him to show me, say, Derek, man, you had an opportunity to help people. You always talked about housing. You always talked about helping the homeless. You always talk about feeding them. But Derek, you never really did it. I truly believe that there's a crown somewhere in heaven. One day that's going to have my name on it with some jewels that say, boy, you did it. You talked about it. You taught other people. Lord have mercy. Until not because I'm just this great guy. I'm just following what he said. The poor and the needy will always be among us. We are to take care of the poor, the needy, and the widow. And God said that when you lending to the poor, it's like it's doing it unto him. I say this all the time, man. Can you imagine having a job or a business to where the blessing of God was already tied into it? Because you're doing his will, guys. We just so happen to be doing it through real estate. Does that make sense to everybody? Or is it one person that say, this don't make sense really? Somebody's going to miss out because you don't get started. Tia, I would hate to stand before God in heaven and say, man, Derek, man, you missed it, bro. I gave you all the resources. I gave you the Forston family. I gave you that YouTube channel. You told me and you've been praying to me that you want to start this thing. I put all this stuff in front of you. He lowered the coaching. He put it on sale. He letting it go half. He go live 3 days a week. Over 600 videos on this topic. Tia, I would hate to stand before God for him to tell me the thing that I put in your heart, you never did it. The devil is a liar. And that's my prayer for each and every one of you, that you guys will move at the speed of instruction and create an environment that looks just like that. It can look similar to that, but the point is, get started. How would this ever happen if you just never get started? We talked about last week that some of y'all should just get a dadgum website, because you are talking about it, but what do you have to lead them to? One of my mistakes, I think I put that in that book. I didn't have an internet presence. Because you can talk about this all day long, but if I can't show nobody what it is. And for $97 at digitalflowsolutions.net, that's an absolute no-brainer to get a website for $97 that didn't host it for $1 and some change per day. It's $37 a month. And then for you guys that want all the automations and the phone and all that other tricky stuff, which you still need that too. But I'm just pushing the people that just need to get started and get an internet presence. Go to digitalflowsolutions.net. Get a website, guys. And again, this is the environment that we're taking people from homeless to hopeful. Not rocket science again. Okay? So I think I'm pretty much done. Let me check something real quick. I'm going to give you all just a chance to ask any questions that you may have about the shared living environment, how to get started, any questions about the coaching, any of that stuff. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Let's get a word from David and Dennis, and we'll be right back. Y'all take it easy on David, man. He's just a little hard-headed.
So, Dennis, in this independent living facility model, right, which y'all call ILFs, what kind of residents can I house in this kind of model? David, that's a great question. And that's actually what makes the ILF model so great, is because it's flexible. So, prime example, you can house military veterans, elderly adults, women that are escaping domestic violence, and the list goes on and on and on. So, Dennis, where do you get your residents from? I see you guys on TikTok and Facebook, you guys getting all of these houses. Like, where in the world are you getting these people from? Yeah, that's actually pretty easy. Forston Consultants teaches us to use social media such as Instagram, Facebook, to let people know who we are, what we do, but probably most importantly, who do we serve? And we do that very consistently. So every day, 7 days a week, there's something being posted about what we do and who we serve, but also building relationships with social workers and case managers. Again, letting them know who we are, what we do, and most importantly with them, that we're available.
Dennis, how in the world are you able to do this without a license, bro?
David, remember the reason why we don't need a license, because remember, the clients that we serve, they're independent. So that means that they can take their own medications, they can provide their own transportation, and they can cook and provide their own food. Dennis, man, you seem to know a lot about this independent living stuff, man. How do you know so much? Well, first of all, I graduated from Forston Consultants University, and I have a master's degree in independent living facilities. And I join the Forston crew every Monday on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern. They go live, and that guy Derek, man, he give the game away. So I'm always there. So Dennis, what in the world are the requirements to get started with something like this? The only requirement for this, David, is a big heart for God, his people, and the love for real estate. That's it. And bro, don't think I ain't listening, because I am listening. But where can I find more information like this at, man? Because I really want to get started, man. David, if I were you, I'd follow Derek Forston on Facebook and TikTok, and then I'd follow Forston Consultants on everything else in terms of Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Again, really slowly, David, because you're hard-headed. I'd follow Derek Forston at Facebook on his personal page. I'd follow him on TikTok but I will also follow Forston Consultants on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget David.
Hey, Dennis, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. I'm going to follow Forster Consultants on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook.
No problem, David. That's actually what I'm here for. And by the way, where did you get that hoodie? I like that.
Oh, this? I got this from Second Chance Apparel. I'll put the link below. This is for aspiring entrepreneurs. And the reason why I love to support it is that every shirt or hoodie that you purchase goes back into housing the homeless.
Take a drive down Los Angeles' Skid Row, filled with tents, people, and growing frustration.
If I can get back into another residence, then I won't make the same mistakes I made before.
According to new federal data, a record number of people are now unhoused, more than 653,000, a 12% population increase since last year. Mel Tilakaratna runs a nonprofit that provides free showers to people living on the street.
The system is completely overwhelmed.
Tilakaratna points to a rise in housing costs, the opioid epidemic, mental health issues, and the migrant crisis as factors exacerbating the problem in LA.
We have families, asylum seekers to families in LA who become homeless, and prior where we would be able to send them to a motel or a shelter within a couple of days, now there's absolutely no resources.
These issues are also creating friction in major cities. Back in September, New York Mayor Eric Adams revealed new fears as tens of thousands of asylum seekers flooded the city.
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
In Phoenix, the city recently cleared a large encampment located downtown.
It seems that the quote-unquote cleanup that the city did just spread the mess out a lot further. People going through everyone's dumpsters, dragging stuff out into the streets.
Across LA, officials have tried to clear out encampments.
They come hit tents and then all your stuff will be gone.
This year, Los Angeles County declared a state of emergency. Since then, officials say they have provided health services, counseling, substance abuse treatment, and found temporary housing for more than 15,000 people and permanent housing for more than 8,000. But even those resources are not enough for frustrated business owners like this woman who doesn't want to be identified.
We'll feed them. We offer food, but if they don't want it, what can we do? It's very frustrating. They'll throw things at you and they'll grab you.
A growing national problem that could take decades to fix. Dana Griffin, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
All right. So again, just showing you guys tons of examples of why you all need to get started. So again, man, thank y'all so much for being here. I super appreciate it. I actually don't see anything in the chat. I'll check it one more time just to make sure. Yep, we're all good there. So again, guys, thank y'all for joining us here at the live Don't Wait to Be Great. And again, what's in your hands? What can you get started with today? The independent living facility model. I hope that I said something that encouraged you guys or opened up your eyes to a different way of real estate or helping people or doing God's will and mashing those all together. Again, because I told you, no matter how you try to frame this, man, all this is the love of God, real estate, and social services all mixed into one. We just put it inside of a blender. So we look forward to seeing you guys also on Monday at 6 p.m. Make sure you go to a house of worship tomorrow. Tell God you love him, you appreciate him, and this is what you want to do. You want to do his will through real estate. Also, don't forget to text the word more info to get our introductory webinar. After watching that webinar, it also gives you a call with me to talk about how can we get you started. Also, don't forget to text the phrase scholarship. Again, if you want an additional scholarship on top of all of these goodies that we're giving you, see if you apply. Text that word scholarship. That'll also lead you to a phone call with us. And again, if you want our coaching, right, all of our coaching right now is pretty much on half. So if you text that word half, let us know which one you want. Most people have been tapping into that ILF Mastery Blueprint. And I got some special coming for my birthday month too. So my birthday month is next month in November. So be looking out for that. Make sure you're following us on all things Forster Consultants. And other than that, you guys be good. I'm going to pray you guys out of here and y'all be good. Now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ever ask or think, according to God's power that worketh in us. Amen. You guys be great. And we'll see y'all next time, which is Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, David, did you know that you can start your own housing program and it doesn't require you for you to own the property and you do not need a license? So how in the world would you do that? I was always told that you had to own the property and that there was always some kind of special license that you had to get from your city to do this. people always told me that there was lots of red tape to jump through. So you mean to tell me these are also not group homes? It's actually simple. They're called independent living facilities, and Forster Consultants actually created it. They hold the trademark for it. So I follow them religiously on Instagram at Forster Consultants as well as Facebook. And every Monday night at 6 p.m., they actually go live on YouTube at Forster Consultants, and I follow them there as well. So you mean to tell me my dream of becoming this housing provider that I've always dreamt of is closer than I realize? And again, you're telling me I don't need a license and I don't have to own the property. Absolutely. You do not have to own the property. You don't have to be a nurse. You don't have to be a CNA. And you can get started as soon as tomorrow. Click the link below for more information.
Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know, there are 4 different ways to get into what we do. The first way is absolutely free by joining us every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday right here on our YouTube channel. Monday and Tuesdays are at 6 p.m. Eastern, and Saturdays are at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's the free way. The next way is our ILF Mastery Blueprint, which is our one-on-one coaching. And we'll talk more about that here in a minute, but that's our hand-holding coaching, as we would call it. We walk you step by step, and it's called the ILF Mastery Blueprint. The next version of how to get into what we do is called the ILF Accelerator. That's a 6-month program for people that may not need the one-on-one coaching for an extended amount of time. And then the very last one is called our do-it-yourself version, where we give you all the material, all the content, and everything that you need to get started, and you can do it at your own pace, and it's called our do-it-yourself version.